Yo. What's going on? It's your boy Minedialogue back on the scene. A little bit serene, but always relatively keen to all the charting schemes. What's good, dialoguers? What's happening, y'all? Wanted to touch base with you for a moment to kind of give you an update on what's going on. I wanted to conduct an analysis video for what I was expecting for today, but wasn't able to do it. My baby girl was up a little bit later than I anticipated. She took a nap earlier in the day, so she could not go to bed around her bedtime, while her sister was knocked out and her brother was knocked out as well. She has a twin sister. But I was able to do some pretty in-depth analysis to prepare for today, and I just want to give you an update and an idea of what happened today. My computer's going slow. I don't know why. I gotta figure that out. But I just wanted to give you all an update of what's going on. So let's see here. I'm going to take this off for the moment. I don't know why this thing's going so slow. I'm going to X out. No, I don't want to X that out. So yeah, it was interesting. I conducted a bunch of analysis, and I essentially know what I wanted to do. I was able to find like a bigger head and shoulder pattern that made me believe, and I felt confident about price action going up, which is exactly what we're doing right now, to the area that I was expecting. I messed up I had to drop my babies off, my son off to camp, and then take my girls to their mother this morning. And so what messed me up was So I had all my levels and everything laid out on the charts, right? And I saved it on my computer. And usually what happens is whatever's on my computer is able to sync to my phone. And for some reason though, what I had updated on the computer did not sync to my phone. And so it kind of threw me off. And I did not want to miss the moves. And I should have been patient, for one. Right? B, if I can't be in front of the computer and just have exactly what I need to be able to enter or exit a trade, I just need to chill out. But nonetheless, I did something that I wasn't supposed to do. Now, mind you, remember I told you I was expecting a move to go up, right? So I knew they were going to do a manipulation down first and then go up. And so I tried to jumping on the manipulation move to go down, which I should not have, because based on my setup or what I remember mentally, like in my brain, it wasn't that far down they had to go in order to make the move up. And so I'll be able to show you some of that this morning. But so I went on the move down, ended up getting stopped out for a loss, and I'll show you how much that loss was and everything. So that was frustrating. I was really frustrated because I essentially did something that was against what I planned to do, and I didn't have the proper visuals based on what I did my assessment on. And so it was really like a careless type of play and entry that I did. But I will say, similar to yesterday, I don't want to continue this pattern, but similar to yesterday, however, because I did know we were going to go up, once I was able to see the area, I had another chart that I had a similar like part that was already like I had it charted out or framed out already. And so once I got stopped out of my play and I saw we edged up above like back up above like a channel that I was expecting. I'm gonna see if it'll come on here, if it's on this one. Once we got back above a channel that I was looking at, that gave me the confidence to be able to jump into play. I end up getting in. I got in too early, but it was cool. I trusted what I was seeing. I got in at 58. So the play that I lost out on, I got in at 73 and then ended up selling off at $40. So I took, let me see here. I took a 46% loss, which is a little bit more than I like. And it wasn't necessarily based off of the percentage. It was more so based off of me getting out at an area because of what I was seeing. So once I saw that we were going back up and started breaching some key areas, that allowed me to get out, right? So I lost out on that. But then once we went back up above a key area, I then jumped into play at $58, right? And mind you, I jumped in at 58. They shook me all the way down. So when I say shake out or shook me, that means the price went against the direction that I was trying to go and basically pressured me to consider whether I wanted to stay in the play or not. So I got in at 58. They shook me all the way down to like $32, right? I had a stop loss to get out at 26. And so they never came down to the 26, started turning around, and boy, did they turn around. So imagine me getting the entry around the $32 low, which is like the true discount level of where I saw price, because it came all the way back to my entry at $58 and then shot past it. So my entry was $58. At the time, the contracts had got as high as 115. I sold out at $107. So I made like 85% profit. So basically from 58 to 107, which I was really happy about, because not only did I wipe away the losses that I took on the first trade, just like yesterday, I also went back green on the trade. So I was happy about that. And then it looks like they were able to get as high as, on the lower time frame, they were able to get as high as 135. So a really, really beautiful, nice move. Let me see if I can stretch the charts out. My computer's, I don't know. I think it might be this. I think it's my video software that I used to record. I need to clean my computer up because it's running way too slow. Come on. All right, I'm gonna go off of here. It's just going too slow for me. All right, so let me see if I can clean this up slightly. This is going way too slow. My bad, y'all. Okay, let's see. Let me see what's important versus what isn't. The first thing I'm gonna show you is the head and shoulder pattern that I was looking at, and why I believe price was gonna go, like we were going up for the day, or at least for a portion of the day. I'm gonna show you the head and shoulders. This thing don't make no sense. Let's go on the. Let's go on the 21 minute. I just want to be able to show you the bigger pattern of what I was looking at and what I expected to happen. Let's see here. All right. So this is the head and shoulder pattern that I drew out and what I was expecting to happen, right? Or kind of what happened, and just so let me see if I could draw it out here so you all can be able to visually see it. I don't know why my computer's going so slow, but bear with me. So this is our left shoulder right here. All this right here. Let me turn a little bit. All right. So that was our left shoulder right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and just clone this. And this was our right shoulder right here. And then we had our head up here, which was created by that insanely nasty candle that they basically like entered the market on. They entered and then they sold it down. So yeah, it looks like they entered the market. Just like I said, they freed up. That's what they did. They bought it up real quick. Then they sold off. I'll go in closer to show you how long this wick is on this candle on the 21 minute. And then, because look at this. Let me go a little closer so y'all can see. This is crazy. Just look at this candle. This is like, this sticks out worse than the sore thumb. Watch this. Come on, computer. You tripping today. Oh God, y'all. So here's the candle right here. Let me exit out of here, try to free up things that are working. All right. Look at this long ass wick candle. The wick that basically like in one candle cleared like $6. So like that's the head portion. So they came into the market off of this candle. And what happens is the sequence of them coming in, they buy it up real quick and then they sell it off real quick, putting a lot of supply on the market, which creates more selling pressure for us to go down. Once we have a bunch of selling pressure down at like the discount levels here, then they buy that supply back up. Everybody tags along. And then look, we're back up here at these levels here. So that's kind of the sequence that happened. But this is the head and shoulder pattern I detected. And you can see this right shoulder that was forming was higher than the left shoulder. So whenever that happens, there's a high probability that we truly are going to go up, right? Because you got this head up here, right shoulder's higher. And so we're going to go up and most likely get support up into this head portion. And then we'll probably reject somewhere around here, probably most likely. All right, let me see how much time left so I can make sure that I'm going about this properly. I want to take care of this. Let's see here. I'm just trying to identify what it is that may not be worthwhile because there's a lot of noise on here and I don't want to. I know it can be confusing because it's even overwhelming for me at times, but it's just like, it's almost like creating a trap for like a mouse or a spider or something. It's funny that the ticker for the S&P 500 is SPY because it really operates like a spy or a spider. You know, it like creeps up along the trend line. It moves really quick at certain times, moves really slow methodically at certain times. It really does act like a spy or a spider, whichever one you like. And so I have to employ all the tools and tactics and things that I have at my disposal to essentially trap them into where I think they're going to go. So that's why we have all of that stuff. So I'm going to show you a couple things. So that's the head and shoulder pattern that I was watching. Right shoulder's higher, so I'm expecting us to get support into this big neck area. Right, we got support into this. Like once this was formed, we came down and got support using the right shoulder into the neck and at the top of the left shoulder here. So that's the head and shoulder that I was watching in all honesty. And so I'm going to show you a couple levels that were key to me. So last night I tagged the current aftermarket price, which was at 12:49 a.m. It was at 629.60. I tagged that because we were consolidating and wicking and doing a bunch of shenanigans around that area. And if you go over here, you can see that, it's going closer. You can see that this is the area. Once they passed it, it was clean. Look on the 21-minute time frame. This is just beautifully and clean here. Taking out all of the sell side or yellow sell candles, sell side orders. Took all of that out. Beautifully clean, cleared this high, and then we're up and up. Now we're above the 50% entry level that I created on the 21-minute. But look, I knew that price was going to be key because in the morning we were still teetering on that level, which is very interesting. So we gapped up here at 631, and then they sold it down and then teetered in this area. But the other thing that was important was the opening candle retracement, which was a 2-level, and they wicked into this 4 different times before taking off. So this opening candle right here, essentially what I did was, let me see, can I hide this? Let me see if I can. Let's see. Visual order, bring to front. Send to back. What does that do? No. I just don't want to mess anything up. Visibility on the current interval and above. Oh. All right, perfect. I've never used this before, so I'm doing it in real time with y'all. And mind you, the market is open right now. It's 12:10 p.m. I'm on my lunch break from my job. Just finished up the interview with someone, and so I'm just making this video for the lunch break so that I can let you all know where things are currently. Let's see, where price is currently at 120. We got as high as 135. I sold off at 107. So I'm gonna hide some of these. Let's hide some of these. I didn't know I could do this, so I'm happy that I found this. How do I find it back though is the question. I'm gonna have to go to the object tree. I'll figure that out later. But hold on. Let's go back for a second. Okay, so let's go down on the 5-minute. All right, so just to give you an idea of what happened, right? So this blue area here, I'm not sure how good you can see it, but the blue area was all, you know what, I'm gonna take off the, hold on, I'm gonna hide the, since I showed you the head and shoulder pattern already, I can hide that. All right. This is key. This is key. All that's key. So this is towards the end of the market. We jumped out into this falling wedge, right? Or in my eyes, it's like a descending channel, basically. We came down to here. We're teetering in, like ping-ponging inside of it as usual. And then when we got into this corner here, or this corner, because I made these trend lines this morning, so I didn't even know it was a wedge where we were going into a corner really till this morning. But nonetheless, that's why it's important to create your trend lines like beforehand so you can see the full framework of what's going on. So it looks like they kind of did almost like a double manipulation type thing, but we manipulated below this 21-minute measurement start, came down again, got support off of manipulated right slightly below this trend line, did not come as low, and then they gapped up really strong in pre-market. We gapped up here, right, and then they sold it down. We hopped inside of this channel, and then we came into another wedge. They popped out of it to manipulate, came back inside as if they were going on down. It was all a lie. They manipulated outside of it a couple different times, right? Technically, they manipulated out of it 1, 2, 3, 4 different times they manipulated out, well, technically 5 different times out of the channel, and they also manipulated out top 1, 2, 3, and then this last huge crazy one right here on 4, and then we took off after that. So I had this opening candle retracement 2 level that plays out beautifully based on the entry model that we like. And so I basically did a retrace measurement off of that candle. 10 minutes left. I did a retrace measurement off of this candle from the low of it. I pulled it up to its high and then looked how the levels retraced in the opposite direction. The 2 level came right here. You can see we respected it here. So they're respecting it a couple different times. 1, 2 different times they respected it. We get a manipulation below it here. We get a manipulation below it for our entry model, right? Once market open. So we're on the 5 minute. We get a, let me get them closer. Let's make this red. I don't like that orange for some reason. Make that a little thicker. Let's make this thicker. All right. So you get this manipulation below this 2 level here. So the entry model would be a close below it. You could enter on once we close. So we go down low and then we close here. You can enter off of the close, or you can wait for it to get swept. But it doesn't always sweep the low. So that's why it might be safer to get in off of the close below it. Once it comes a decent way below it, from 628.78, and comes as low as 628.32, which is what, like 56 points. And then we end up closing here. So you can get in on the entry off once it closes there at 628.45. It sweeps it, but you're only experiencing, let's see, that's 45 to like 28. You're talking about 17 cents of drawdown. That's nothing really. So you can get it on the close and only get 17 cents of drawdown, or you can wait for the sweep and you barely get any drawdown. So what happens is they did that and they pop up pretty nicely, right? You get a move up to 630, but then it comes into this area here. This is one of those key areas. Once again, actually, is it my key area? Let's see. Yes, it's one of the key areas that I had. I had 2 of them up top. I have this one up here above the 50%. I have this one right here. And you can see they rejected off of it at first, came all the way back down and swept these initial lows when we first broke below the 2 level, right? But we got held up by this black and red trend line. Then it came down, swept these lows, right? So on this entry, you would need to get in on the close, because once we made the low, once we swept these lows, they did not sweep the low they just made, right? That was enough that they swept both of these lows, and then they basically reversed beautifully. So you get the second time they came down, you get a manipulation below the 2 level and the black and red trend line. But guess what? We essentially get held up by this orange trend line here. I'm going to change this color. I don't know, it's just not doing it for me right now. We're going to change this. We get held up. So they manipulated below a little bit, but we get held up by it, right? And then we take off. So I probably, let's see, when did I get in? Orders. Trade. Let's see if I can go in my orders. Order status and see when I entered the play. How much time are we dealing with? We got 6 minutes and 20 seconds left. So I got in at, I entered at, yeah, so I was in the play for about an hour and what's that? 25 minutes. So I was in it for a little time, for a decent amount of time, but it was worth it. So I got in at 10:05, definitely got in really early. So 10:05 was right. So I got in up here because I wasn't able to see this particular chart, so I didn't have the context I was looking for. So I actually got in where we began the sell-off. And the reason I got up here is because on one of my other charts, let me take this off here now. One of my other charts, it showed us popping above the back up inside a channel, and I wanted to get in there once we popped up above the channel. So I got in at a good entry, but they did one more sweep down, and I stayed in. I stayed there. We didn't tag this 21-minute discount level down here. If they would have did that, there's a high probability they would have kicked me out of the trade because I could have got stopped out at that $26. But it stayed intact, and once they swept these lows, that was good enough for them. They turned around. We got a nice close above the opening candle retrace 2 level. Once that happens, it's bombs over Baghdad after that. Then we clear that key price from last night, and then we just started taking off. So that's essentially what happened, and now we're up here about to go into this key second area that I create for my measurements, and I have us tagging the 633.60, probably getting up to these trend lines up here for a beautiful rejection. But they teetered basically and manipulated at the bottom below this channel here, this bigger channel. So that's essentially what happened, folks, right? There's a lot of different key things that took place that we can, possibly identify. Like if we go down on the 2-minute, let's see here. We're not even on the 2-minute. Let's see if we can find, let's see how low they went here. Let's tag these 2 lows and see where they show up. Let's see where they went into. So it looks like they dug into this bearish again. They like digging into inversion fair value gaps as steam to go back up. This is what they like to do. Look at that. They dug into this bearish fair value gap right there. So I know I haven't been doing a lot of bearish and bullish fair value gaps. I still use them, but not as much. I use them to help paint the bigger picture, but a lot of times I'm just visualizing it, to be honest, and I may not need to put it there. But they basically dug into this bearish fair value gap, the top of it there, beautifully. And that's what happens, folks. So I was able to end the day green, similar to yesterday. Started off with a loss. Maybe we just need to be a little bit more patient and wait till I have the proper setups in terms of the tools in order to make the best decisions. But had pretty good entries. The drawdowns it was too much of a drawdown on the second play, but I did believe in it, and it did not completely close and breach below the levels that I wanted. They manipulated below them, so I'm glad that I stayed in. They created this W pattern here, and then just took off. So end of the day, nice and green. They'll probably come try to get some support here off of this 50, possibly down here. But I expect us to tag this level before the day's out and even hit the top of that trend line up there. And that's where we are, folks. I appreciate everything y'all do as usual, Dialoguers. Please support the channel if you choose to do so. It definitely help out a lot. Continuously bringing you content, gems. And hit up the comments. Let me know what you want me to check out next. I need to go holler at Eli Lilly again, look at SoFi. There's a couple other things. I think I got a trade on Bitcoin, a paper trade on Bitcoin right now. Let's see how it's doing. I'm probably in the red right now. Ooh, yeah, I'm in the red nasty right now. But I think we're gonna come back down. What I noticed was a head and shoulder with a left shoulder higher, so I'm expecting us to dump back down. Let's see here. I'm gonna put this up a little bit higher. I'm gonna put it up like right here. I'm gonna move it back once I'm done, once they get this out of their system, and then we're gonna aim to come back down here. So I'll give you an update on that later. Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, donate to the Cash App money sign Minedialogue. Hit me up via email for a free private session. Minedialogue.business@gmail.com. I appreciate y'all. Have a great day on purpose. Love, people.